the beloved patron Santorios of the Natural Average Investor community, Michael Santorios, super sharp guy.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't get scammed. He just got tired. Right? Like he bought his first rental property at 21, built up a small portfolio near his home in Maryland, and what looked like a win on paper started to like become like this like time-sucking burden. He was feeling the self-management overload. He was handling everything himself, tenant calls, contractor wrangling, lease renewals, all that stuff that was, almost like while juggling his W-2 job, had a couple of condo fees, started experiencing delayed progress. Even with that, he built a nice little portfolio.
It's incredible.
And then he also started feeling the pinch of an anti-landlord municipality, Maryland, that he talks about all the time here. How common is that? How common is this idea? Like it feels like we are right now on the beginning of this wave of anti-landlord sentiment. We're like with the affordability crisis and all this type of stuff. And as people, like the mayoral election in New York might lead to some really weird outcomes here of like what they're talking about when rent control is the main thing that they're running on, right? So this idea of people that are I want to talk about active versus passive, but first I want to just talk about this idea of being in a landlord unfriendly environment. Do you play therapist to a lot of people that are doing that and calling JWB?
Yes. And I think even of people transitioning into Florida's market who have maybe had different experiences somewhere else, a lot of it is our team really just being cautious with delivering messages of how things work in our world and in our market, because we can go in maybe unfazed if we're delivering a news like of, oh yeah, we have this going on, but no big deal, when it might have been an extremely big deal to somebody else in a less landlord friendly market.
True.
And that's something that we have to really coach through is like, I know that you think it's very casual because we can get something done in 3 days here, but that same thing might take 3 years somewhere else.
Yeah.
So when you're calling somebody and talking about it, just being really cautious with the news of like, hi, I am sharing an update with you, and I'm not sure if you've experienced this ever. Tell me about your experience so then I can compare it and make sure that you have all of the information to feel secure about it. But we have that happen a lot. Or on the Vice where we might say something and someone says, oh my gosh, I have to sell everything. Everything's destroyed now. And we're like, no, not in this market. This is a simple blip and we will move right on. But we know how to navigate these things.
What are the main kind of like, what are the go-to FAQs about how landlord friendly is Jacksonville specifically? Do you find yourself in similar conversations often of like that happens over there but not here kind of thing?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is eviction timelines. A lot of that, if you have a renter who's truly just not paying rent and we are going through the eviction process, a lot of our investors are going to come, they personally own their homes and live in non-landlord friendly states. And so maybe in some of those properties that they fell into, or if they had experience in managing those properties that were closest to them, that was their experience. Where in some states, maybe that does take you over 3 years to get a non-paying resident out of your home. So when I deliver news that we're filing an eviction and we've started that process, your mind automatically starts going to, okay, let me do the math of no cash coming in for 3 years. And in our head, it's, oh, that is completely not our reality of how that process works. So that's kind of first example that pops up.
Yeah, 3 years of a non-paying.
That's a real example I had with a client who had them going on at the same time and were able to compare them live. And they were on year 2 when we started the conversation. So we really said, oh, that is an extremely different timeline and expectation. So we were able to have a little U-Pod moment, which is what we'll always do. But also in a lot of states, they can't even give you a timeline because it's just extremely regulated in different ways where they're like, we don't know. We'll let you know when we have something, but it's really out of your property manager's hands completely.
Passive, like active to passive. I think in Michael Santorio's story, I don't remember what the number was that he came to JWB with, but it feels like he's really ramped up his ability to invest and grow his portfolio since he's been here. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think that's something that we do see a lot is people who come to us with Yeah, goal or not, where sometimes in like Michael's situation where he had, what was it, nearly 20 years and he acquired 5 properties.
Mhm.
Incredible. That's incredible for anyone. But with that same amount of money that he spent with an experienced team, we're able to say, he might come and say, oh, well, I know I want to do the same or maybe get 6 in 20 years. And then we're able to lay out the plan and all of the resources and strategies and say, we can get you 6 in a year and a half with that same amount of money. There's just so many resources that they're not teaching you that in school. You have to learn it from communities like this of what can I do? What are my plans? Or some people say, I don't know, I really think I could get 3. And then we say, you could get 12 in that same time with the same amount of money. Here are the strategies to get you there. And that is where it's really impactful. And I say my favorite thing about this role is that I get to change people's lives. And that's how I get to do it, is that you're able to provide education specific to your market. And it's not just a blanket real estate education. It's, I know this market and I know it really well. And I know our loan products really well and our resources really well.
Mhm.
So let's build your plan, and whatever your dream is, let me exceed it.
Yeah.
And then send me pictures from Greece. That's where you're
I
at.
love it. I love that. Sounds a lot like bills, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like whether it's knowledge or time, right? Like once you move into the passive strategy, you can really scale because you have a team that can handle all this type of stuff and you just got to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
The same as being a business owner, like this is kind of like your own little business and all of a sudden you found a CEO to go run it for you. JWB is like the CEO of your portfolio.
Yep. And we focus big on an annual performance review. So
Mhm.
for all of our clients to connect with their portfolio manager annually to review your complete ROI tool where you're saying, okay, here's where my returns are at. Here's my plan. What do we want to do in the next 365 days? Like that is what I really want to zoom out on of, okay, what is our strategy? What do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? What else do you have going on in your investment world, in your personal life with your goals, and kind of like just a mini goal planning session where we're really just digging in, going deep, making a plan, and following up with inventory when it makes sense.
I love it. So Michael is an outlier in the sense that he did all this stuff in 2016. Or he started with JWB 2016 before we had the show
Oh,
and
yeah.
all these different kinds of things. But what convinced him, according to the show, was numbers over emotions, right?
Yeah.
Michael's wife, self-described numbers nerd, saw the value in JWB's conservative projections. Even better, the team encouraged front loading, buying properties early to let time do the heavy lifting. They saw the end-to-end management piece after years of DIY headaches, ready to hand over the reins, right? Like what we just talked about. Aligned philosophy. He saw a belief system, focus on long-term wealth, use leverage wisely, build for cash flow when you need it, not just when you buy. And then the track record and transparency, right? He started in 2016, bought 12 properties, 6 with financing, 6 with cash, liked how it under promised, over delivered, and then respected the visibility they offered, both the numbers, and he's continued to grow his portfolio.